I did it twice there, that'll confuse you. Okay, so it's Andy here for Going Nomad, aka Pigs on Bikes, and today I want to talk about food in Cuba. This is a typical restaurant that you find, typical touristy kind of restaurant, you know, really nice, rustic shack. This one, specific one, I think is near the Che Guevara Memorial near Santa Clara, I think. Let's have a look at a typical menu. This menu I stole from, no I didn't, I just took photos of it, don't worry, from the restaurant of a high-end hotel in Havana. So you can see when you first look at it, you think, hey, this is all right, isn't it? It's got a kids menu, and you know, it's got like sandwiches, and it's got some salmon baguette, beautiful. Yes, what else does it have? And it has so the main meals are like big lumps of meat with chips, predominantly on this menu. Saying that, not often with chips, actually. Often more like with rice and beans and with normally some kind of washed out vegetables. Or not actually that bad, but it's not very much vegetables. Okay, right, so then you can see on this side that there's a good selection of spaghetti, lots of spaghetti. Yeah, spaghetti in meat sauce. Doesn't say what meat sauce. And at the bottom there we've got some pizzas going on as well. So there's the pizzas, and you can see there that the pizzas, it's just bread with ham and cheese. Here's another, this is in Havana. This is in Havana as well. A very nice little restaurant, cooks everything behind what you can see there, behind the counter. Look at the meal, look at the meal. Okay, what you're getting is you're getting a big lump of meat. It's got some rice and beans with it, and it's got some salad, yeah? Rice and beans and some kind of salady vegetable things, a big lump of meat. Right. And here we go, this is what I had, okay? And I had a big lump of meat with some rice and beans and some vegetables. So you can see the difference there. Less rice and beans, that's what I had. Okay. I'm not bothered about this. This is good. This is good food. This is one of the best meals that we had when we were there. And it was by no means... Oh, rum. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, drunk some rum as well. Nice rum in Cuba. Okay. Right. Meals are not bad, actually. What really gets you is the lack of diversity. We'll move on to that in a minute. Right. So this is a menu from outside, a typical streety kind of restaurant. And the other place you can eat are these little keyhole places during the day are where you get a lot of Cubans eating as well. And the prices are chalked up on the board inside the kiosk. So you can just stand where Tanya's standing now, the window beside it is where you order from, and then you go in and you collect it and you get it given to you normally on an actual plate with a proper knife and fork. And if you order a coffee, it comes in a proper cup, and what you do is you eat it on the street and you return the cutlery and the crockery to them. They can reuse it. No polystyrene takeaway wrappers. Eco-friendly. Nice. Yeah. Now you will see here what we ended up doing. We ate from these quite a few times. And what we found was they're exceptionally good value for money, because these aren't aimed at the tourist market. So here, for example, you've got a great picture of a standard pizza. It's bread with ham and cheese. For convenience, I've just folded it in half. And it comes wrapped in a piece of paper. You see, and the paper is biodegradable-ish. You can throw it in the bin. So no polystyrene takeaway containers or anything like that. Okay. So the other place you can eat are these Palla something or others. I can't remember what they're called. These are supposed to be state-run restaurants, but they're licensed to individuals, and so they're supposed to serve one good meal that is affordable to everybody, and actually they don't. What they do is they serve, the ones that we went in serve higher end food, not bread, cheese, and ham. No, they serve higher food, which is more like this. Okay, and as you can see, it's some kind of shred. I think this was shredded pork. This one in some kind of vegetable-based sauce, and you can tell it's posh food because somebody's drizzled something from a height over it, tried to make it look nice, haven't they? And also, it's with white rice. Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just it's not very tasty. So here you can see another, another big meal. It's a big meal, and it's got a good lot of meat with it, some carbohydrates. And the meat isn't particularly great quality meat, and the reason for that is that the meat is often, if it's not locally sourced, then it's frozen imported meat, and it's not a very good quality. So what they do is they stew the hell out of it for a long time and try and make it more palatable. Okay? The problem that you have with food in Cuba, right, is not that it's small, not that it's not fresh, because it is all freshly cooked, relatively freshly cooked. It's actually, what it is, it's boring. It's just boring. It's boring. That's the problem. And it's boring because there's not very many ingredients in it. And when you look at Cuba, compared to other places in the world that have extraordinary good food, such as Vietnam and Thailand and India and places like that, geographically it's in the same sort of region. Not in the same region, it's in the same kind of environment as those countries. So a tropical / subtropical environment. But you look at the food in Southeast Asia and the Indian subcontinent, and it's such a wide variety, a massive variety of different ingredients, food and styles. In Cuba, hardly any, by comparison, hardly any variety in the ingredients that you can use. Right, bread, cheese and ham, yeah, if you're lucky, yeah. So obviously there's reasons for this, so let's look at the reasons for that. Okay, so the reasons for that is the government is a socialist government, and it basically failed, and it failed for several reasons, and one of them, it didn't help because it was getting a lot of subsidies from the USSR, and when that collapsed in 1991, it then went through a special period where things were a bit tight, put it like that. So they've got rationing, they've still got rationing like the good old British used to have in World War II, and up until the mid-50s or early 50s certainly for some items, and they still have rationing, and it's the ration book, and people have to go to the special place where you buy those certain ingredients that are rationed, and you can buy them. There's such a scarcity on these items as well that sometimes it may be months before they're in the shops. This is no lie. You can go to Cuba and you can look at this for yourself. Okay, what they say, what you hear can be true. It's not always truth, but it can be the truth. Okay, when you're talking about scarcity of resources. And the reason for that is, of course, because there's a trade embargo. Because if you go to Mexico, they've got great big supermarkets full of everything you want, and that's because they haven't got a trade embargo against Mexico, have they? So who's to blame for this? Is it the Cubans? Well, I don't think it is. No, it's probably the Americans, isn't it, for having persuaded several other countries to hold a trade embargo with Cuba and not export or import any of their goods or goods to them. Okay, so that's why there's few things on the shelves in the shops when you go there. The other thing is that the tourist industry has boomed in the last few years, and a lot of the big hotels are buying either direct from suppliers or they're buying at hiked prices, where it leaves the smaller person, smaller business, the private entrepreneur, less buying power because they don't actually have as many American dollars, tourist dollars to spend. Okay, so here's some video of us looking around the supermarket, and what you can see here is you can see that there are actually shelves, and they seem to be quite full on first appearance. When you look in there, they're all full of the same thing, so you'll end up with 5 shelves full of the same item, and this becomes even more apparent when, and this is like a 7-Eleven style shop. and you don't get really big supermarkets. I didn't see anywhere a big style supermarket. Okay, so there's not like a Chedraui like there is in Mexico, or there's not a Walmart, or there's not a Tesco's, like, or an Asda. And this is the biggest kind of shop I saw in its 7-Eleven size, you know. So anyway, you can have a look in the freezer. If you have a look in the freezer, and you see that in the freezer it's just full of processed sausage meat, and this is the only meat in the shop, okay. And then you see a whole fridge full of stork margarine, and there's about a dozen chickens, whole chickens frozen in the freezer. Okay. So this is the reason why. There's lots of interesting things that I'm not going to go into now, as the causes and effects of this. Okay. But the reason why food, if you go to Cuba, let's sum it up. If you go to Cuba, food is big, right? Big portions of freshly cooked, usually fairly low quality meat with some carbohydrates, limited vegetables, because vegetables are rare and expensive, very few spices, so it's not chili, or it's not like curry like India, or it's not full of star anise and lemongrass like, and garlic and chili like Asia, like, so it's pretty bland, and there's a lack of variety in it because there's only so much you can do with these limited ingredients. And the higher end you stay, and the higher end you stay, the choices in the food will be better, and of course the lower end you are, the less variety and the less choice there will be. The quality though isn't really very different. Okay, good. Anyway, food in Cuba, personally, I found it boring. That's my version of it. Okay, right, cool. Like, share, subscribe, email me, gonomad123@gmail.com, and stay safe out there.